recognition of our soul connection.
Absolutely.
And thank you for your work.
What a beautiful thought. I'm so glad you called in. And this is a perfect example of explaining that, her daughter had only one session from one of the people who attended the seminars. And you see, so it is not a gift that belongs to just me. It's not a gift that belongs to one special person. It's a door that is open up that we can all access the moment we are willing to transcend our energy healing techniques. Thank you so much for calling.
Eric, you're teaching other people now to teach other people? Is that growing like that?
I have started. We now have a few teachers. That wasn't what this caller meant when she said a teacher. She meant one of our teaching assistants.
Okay.
We didn't have teachers at that time. That was many years ago. If I were in Springfield, if we're going back to Springfield, Missouri, that was many years. That was easily 5 or 6 years ago, I would think, or if not more. We have a few teachers now. Doug DeVito, Kelly Woodruff, and Chris Upchurch. These are three of our teachers now who are helping us spread the seminars because, I just can't get everywhere. I cannot physically get everywhere. I haven't been to all the countries, where the book is published yet, including, and forget the ones that it's coming up to. We're just opening South America this year, where I'm on my way to Madrid in a couple of weeks, and which is not South America, of course, but then we're going to be doing Venezuela. And we finally just got a Portuguese publisher in Portugal, and we're looking to get one in Brazil. I'm so glad this is in Hebrew, but we're losing a huge part of the world so far because we don't have a good Arabic publisher. And I've been, working with people because I've brought the seminars already to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and I've been in Beirut. And, of course, what we really want to find is a wonderful Arabic publisher you really want one based out of either Beirut or Cairo because they're the ones that have most of the spread throughout the Arab-speaking world. So if you know of anyone, that's a clue.
Well, let me tell you right now, when you come back to the States, call the American University, Washington, D.C., ask for Dr. Clovis Maksoud, Maksoud, used to be the ambassador to the Arab League. He's a friend of mine. He teaches there now. And introduce yourself to him and run with it. He knows everybody out there.
American University in Washington?
Yep. Clovis Maksoud is his name.
Great. I've written down, and I will do that. I might even give you a call afterwards just when I get back to
Sure. Okay, let's go to Newark, Delaware. Linda, east of the Rockies. Are you in Delaware or New Jersey?
I'm in Delaware.
Perfect. Go ahead.
And thank you both for taking my call. And Eric, thank you so much for bringing and teaching truth, simple, plain truth to us. I have 3 questions for you. The first question would be, can your type of healing be done long distance? If I were to call you or one of your practitioners, can it be done without the person being physically with one of you?
Yeah, you can absolutely do distance healing. Now, you can't do long distance healing because that's AT&T, but you can do distance healing, and absolutely. And you don't need to be. You probably need to use the phone or email to contact them, but we don't. This is not energy healing. It doesn't have the weaknesses or the frailties of energy healing. So, for instance, when you're working in person with someone, you don't have to take off the leather or the jewelry. You don't have to empty the pockets out of coins. And as far as distance healing people now, you don't have to have them on the phone. You don't need a handwriting sample or a photograph or a lock of their hair or a fingernail clipping or a blood sample or a stool sample. You just don't need anything except to know that you're existing with that person and to step into that healing space. But we talk about that. We teach how to do self-healing in the book, and we teach how to do self-healing at the seminars.
Okay. My next question would be, when you're doing the healing sessions, how do you know when the time is, when it's completed, in other words?
How do you know when a healing is finished?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's like this. First of all, how long does a healing take? It takes this long. Snap of the fingers, that long. What takes the time is for the person to choose to accept it. And there are various reasons for that. One is the difference between expectancy and expectation. In other words, let's say you made an appointment to see me and you waited 6 months until I was in the country and you could fly out, and you arranged for someone else to handle your workload at the, where you're employed, and to handle your kids, and you spent the time and the money, and you filled out a form, and someone brought you into a room and you took off your shoes and lied down, and you waited 10 or 15 minutes before I finally deigned to walk into the room, and I come over to you and I hold my hands over you for 2 seconds and I leave. Now, most likely you won't choose to accept the healing. But yet, let's say George is in a restaurant tonight and we end up in the same part of the world, and he sees me walk in and he says to his friend, "There's that crazy person I just did the interview with on the show today. Please let my friend feel this in their hands." And I'll say, "Sure," and I'll come over and I'll let his friend feel it in their hands. But it's a busy restaurant and the maitre d' pulls me away, so I'm only there for a few seconds. And George's friend might call him tomorrow morning and say, "Hey, guess what? My psoriasis is gone. I had psoriasis on the left side of my body all of my life, and so has everyone on my father's side of the family for the past 6 generations. And this morning, I woke up and it was gone." Why would his friend have had a healing and you necessarily might not have? Would have been the difference between expectancy and expectation, meaning you had a lot of plan and planning, expectations. You painted a picture of expectation, and to the degree I didn't meet the picture, I didn't spend enough time with you, I didn't talk to you, I didn't hold your hand, you might not choose to accept that healing. But George's friend wasn't planning on anything. He was in a restaurant and suddenly just opened up to a state of expectancy. Oh, wow, something cool and different, and everything flows through. So we have to recognize that people have different expectations. The thing that I would do is schedule a session. If you're learning to do this work as a practitioner, schedule your sessions for maybe 30 minutes. Let people know that you do 30-minute sessions so that they can expect a certain length of time to spend with you, and then trust that if more time is needed, the healing will continue without that, and you can maintain a nice professional schedule and not have to stand there pretending to do the healing that we all know that we're not doing ourselves anyway.
Have you ever come across someone who picked up on this like that?
Sure.
Who was just so good?
Lots of times, George. It's not a special thing. It's a whole spectrum of people who learn this work, from the people who, refuse to be able to see it and understand it in the beginning, to those who get it very easily and suddenly over the weekend, to those who pick it up right away. And then, of course, a lot of the special people we've trained to be our teaching assistants, so that we can give a lot of one-on-one attention throughout the course of the seminars.
All right, stay with us, because we're going to come back in just a second with final phone calls with our special guest tonight, Dr. Eric Pearl on Coast to Coast AM. Your calls are next. Richard C. Hoagland joins us on our next Coast to Coast program. I'm looking forward to that full program with our science advisor and the head of the EnterpriseMission.com. When we come right back, final phone calls with Eric Pearl on Coast to Coast AM. Eric, do you see certain times of strife as affecting this kind of reconnective healing at all? Good times, things work well. Bad times, things slow down?
No. Actually, if
Good.
anything, what we've been experiencing so far currently, because I know you spend a lot of focus on the financial crisis, has been a drive for people to become more focused on what's important in their lives. And so even more people are coming to the seminars to learn healing. And also for another reason, which we didn't touch on today, but reconnective healing is now becoming the main healthcare profession in the alternative healing world.
Interesting.
And because you can access this as a profession, and we teach people how to start a practice, how to build and develop a practice based on ethics and the consciousness of touching as many people with the light of healing as possible. Of course, we also like to not only just have people become, professionals for themselves and their communities. We're also doing work with children. We have a program called Reconnective Kids where we teach children how to do this work. I just gave my second course